I don't even know what day we're on. This diary. What day is this? Today is the 6th. I think the last time I went to Disneyland it was the 8th, March 8th. So we're closing in on a month of not going to Disneyland. And it was a month ago when we all knew that we were having this drama, but they hadn't quite shut things down yet. I think it was the following Thursday, right? After that weekend. So we're closing in on a month of isolation. We're closing in on a month of social distancing and lockdown, basically. And I thought it might be a good idea to talk to you guys a little bit about, because we're all trying to find our own different ways to cope with this. Obviously, we've talked about that at length. But one thing that we haven't really talked about is what is or is not okay. And I'm not a therapist or a scientist, but I feel like I have an opinion on what feels like is or is not okay. And really, actually, the way I should put this is what is okay. Some of us might be feeling a certain amount of self-awareness, self-consciousness. Should I be pulling myself up by my bootstraps and really sticking through this and being tough about this? Or maybe you feel bad about maybe not being as tough as you need to be, maybe feeling sad and maybe feeling anger or desperation or whatever. And all I have to say about that is that, for one, first off, it is absolutely okay, in my opinion, to feel a degree of sadness and despair. We want to be upbeat, we want to be positive, but this is a hard, trying time. It's a dark time, and I feel sad, or melancholy was a word I used before, often, especially at night when I'm lying in bed trying to go to sleep. And I've heard a few people talk about this on Twitter, how they're having trouble, getting sound, restful sleep. And that's because that's when our minds wander and are free to think the most. There's zero distractions. It is okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel despair. I think that most of us are feeling this way. Likewise, it's okay to feel a little scared about the future. And by that, I mean, what is going to happen to us? What's going to happen? Are we going to... I find myself watching Walking Dead, or wanting to watch Walking Dead. We watched, what was the show that I was trying to watch the other day? Well, I was trying to watch Walking Dead, but she didn't want any part of it. But I feel like I want to watch that just so I can practice mentally just in case, total apocalypse happens and everything goes to hell. And for whatever reason, watching that would almost comfort me, because I guess when I watch that show, I get a feeling of survival. And even though it feels desperate at times, there's still a life out there for all of us. And I know that's a dark thing to talk about, and it's not going to happen to us, but it does give me peace, because it's something that I've said before: as long as we're alive, we'll survive. And it may not be the same life that we're living today, but as long as that doesn't matter. Really, we're going to find out what does matter, won't we? So it's 100%, I think, okay to be scared of the future, because it's so unknown. It's so unknown. Just a couple of weeks ago, what we thought of this was that it was kind of a nuisance, kind of annoying, and we just got to get through this period. Let the hot weather, whatever, they'll figure out a cure or a vaccine, and we'll be all through this. And now going on a month now, and nothing doesn't feel like we've turned any corners. I don't feel like there's been any corners turned. They're talking about a year for a vaccine or more, or I should say the new year for a vaccine. Anyway, it just doesn't seem like it's this quick thing that we're going to get past. This is kind of a lifestyle now. And the further along we get into this, the more of a lifestyle, the more it becomes the normal than our past. It is okay to have fear of other people that you encounter out in the world. Some of us, I know personally, I feel guilty when I'm out there walking, my dog, or taking Sophia for a walk, and I'm on one side of the street. And and I see somebody walking towards me, and we all kind of we do this thing where we kind of shrink back or maybe pull to the side and let the other person take the other half of the thing or whatever. And I feel guilty about that because I'm like, I don't want them to think I think they're a carrier or whatever. But they're thinking the same thing about me. It is okay to be afraid of other people. That is a common, natural thing to be feeling. And we just have to kind of accept that. I ran into a couple. We were walking Sophia out at the park. And it's a park, with a concrete path that winds through a grassy field. So, and the path is maybe 3 or 4 feet wide. Certainly not enough for people to pass by one another without getting really close. And they were both wearing masks, so I knew that they were conscious of the situation, and they were obviously thinking about it. And we kind of had a laugh because I just stopped where I was, and I said, okay, we're going to park it here because there was a little bit of a wider area where we were, and we're going to let them go by us, and on the grass or something like that. And the older gentleman said something like, got to get a 6 feet or whatever, but he was half joking, and also you could also tell he was like, get your ass 6 feet away from me. On that note, it is okay to tell somebody that you encounter in the whatever to get away from you. That's okay. They're telling us to do this. Okay? They're willing to make it a law. They're willing to fine us for not doing this. So it's okay to tell another person to get the 6 feet frick away from you. Okay? There's nothing, don't feel guilty about that. Ronnie said on Twitter the other day that when he's jogging, he made the same kind of Walking Dead reference. He goes out jogging, and he says, I can't remember what he said exactly, but he feels like he's the Walking Dead, and they're all trying to get the hell away. It's okay to go to the other side of the street. If you see somebody on the same side of the street as you, take your ass to the other side of the street. That's okay. You may feel dirty, but you're more important than anything else. It may feel like, oh my gosh, I'm such a jerk for doing this, but that's okay. Take this to the grocery store. I have found myself a couple times, when I've been at the grocery store, where I want to buy a certain thing, and there's somebody occupying that space that I want to be in order to view the thing that I want to buy. I'll just park my cart and wait until that person is done trying to decide if they want, spicy Doritos or Cool Ranch or the new the spicy chili lime, which, by the way, the correct answer on that is spicy chili lime. I don't know, sweet spicy chili? Yeah, sweet spicy chili. That's the correct answer. Those are so good. By the way, you know what? I'm going to ask. We'll wait till the end for this. Wait for that person to make their decision on the sweet spicy chili Doritos, and then go in and occupy that space. Likewise, it is okay for you to tell somebody to get out of my bubble while you're trying to buy your sweet spicy chili Doritos, for them to maybe go look for some frickin' cereal in the next aisle or something like that. Or, and this is an equally okay decision to make, leave. It's okay to just leave. I have seen so many times, I've seen so many abandoned carts and baskets. It's crazy. It's the weirdest thing. And you notice it more because the stores are emptier than they've ever been. But you'll just see this basket of groceries sitting there on the floor, or a cart half full of groceries just sitting there, and nobody's claiming it. And in my mind, the only reasonable thing that I can think of is that they just couldn't take it anymore. They couldn't take it anymore because some jerk was trying to get into the frozen section at the same time they were, and they're like, that's it. I'm out. I can't do it. I can't do it. Your ass is in my space. I need to be somewhere else. And so I think that's because some of us are we're not as bold than others, let's say. And we don't want to tell a person to go, to go shine, right? So we don't want to be the person to say, I was here first, get out of here. If you're not that kind of person, and that's okay if you're not, because we can't make you be more assertive or more aggressive, then just leave. Go do something else. You go do something else and then come back. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not a rejection or a sense of failure or anything like that. It's just you protecting you. It's okay to do that kind of thing. Also, likewise, while you're in the store, it is okay to tell that person who thinks that they can buy all 6 bottles of Clorox disinfectant spray that there's a limit on the number of Clorox disinfectant sprays that you can buy. That happened to me this very day. I've been waiting like everybody else for a couple of weeks. We have one bottle, and we need 2. Okay, I need 2 bottles now because I don't know when the next time is that I'm going to get one. So I want one of those bottles. She grabbed one and then grabbed another, and she was about ready to grab the rest of them because there was only 6 on that shelf. And I said, lady, you know that there's a limit, 1 per customer. And she's like, oh, what? Oh my gosh, I had no idea. And then she said, and then she said, I've been waiting for these. I've been waiting for them to be in stock. Well, really? Have you been waiting? Really? You know, I rope dropped Target this morning at 7:30. But not, what, because I love shopping in the morning and standing in the rain? No, I rope dropped it so I could buy that frickin' bottle of disinfectant spray. That's why we're here. So it's okay to tell that person to go shove it and to put the rest of those bottles back. Please take your one and get out of here. Oh my God, this world that we're living in. It's okay to tell the guy in line to get 6 feet back of you. I was buying, again, this is one of the, these all happen on the same visits. It's not like I'm out there shopping constantly, trust me. I had a clerk tell me, because this is one of the stores where they didn't have the things, section or spaced off. You're standing in line and they put those little tapes on the ground so that you're 6 feet apart. Have you seen that? Are they doing it in your area? They're doing that here. But this particular store, I'm going to hold on to this. This particular store didn't have tape yet. So people were just bunching up against one another in the line to buy the groceries. But I kept my 6 feet from the person in front of me. I wouldn't push my cart in there. And the clerk said to me, you know what, you're the only one. You're the only one who respected that 6 feet. And I cannot believe that's possible. We have to be told. We have to be told to do it. I mean, and so much in terms of the tape thing. When I went to rope drop at Target the other morning, they had little pieces of tape outside of the store for everybody to stay 6 feet apart. But if they didn't, they would have all been lined up. Now, having said that, this is ridiculous. You're not going to believe this. The guy said, okay, here's what we're going to do. They had a clerk come out, the Target security come out and tell the whole line, here's what's going to happen. We're all 6 feet apart right now. We're going to open the door, and then you're all going to march single file all the way to the paper section, by toilet paper, paper towels, that kind of thing, because they know that's what we're all here for, right? Is that whole section, plus the cleaning stuff. He said, so we're just going to, don't break out of line. If you don't want any of that stuff, just wait till we get to the end, and then you can break off and go do your thing. Stay in line until we get to the paper section. And everybody's like, roger that, got it. And everybody did do that. Everybody did stay in line. But what happened is that 6 feet, as we got closer and closer to the paper, shrunk until I thought I was in Peter Pan. Okay, no joke. And I was minding my 6 feet. Trust me, I will always mind my 6 feet. But we can't be trusted. And this is why they have to close the parks. And this is why they have to close the football games. And this is why they have to close the movie theaters, because we can't be trusted to take care of ourselves. I joke. I kid. I try to say this in jest, but this is serious. You guys, this is really serious. We have to do better. We got to do better. And we got to do better about not only minding our own, part in this, but letting people know that they're not doing their part. We have to. I know it sucks. I know it sucks a lot, but we have to. It's okay to tell your friends or family, if you're not comfortable, don't come over today. These last couple of weeks, this week is supposed to be pretty bad in terms of, because it's cold out. I have to say no. I have to say no. And it's okay if you want, I get it. Like you want to trust your family, and obviously, we do, but they're not living in the same life, in the same, bubble that you're in. So I don't know how well my son's girlfriend is doing or minding the social distance. I don't know how well, the other family is. And it's not like you can drop a COVID-19 test at the door and say, take this before you come in. Oh, golly. What if that becomes a thing? It's a crazy world we live in, man. But it's okay. It's okay to say no, you guys. It's okay. What matters most, I guess that's the point of what I'm saying in all this. What matters most is that you do what you got to do to stay, to stay healthy up top. Because the longer this goes on, the harder it's going to be for us to keep our wits about us and to keep, sane. And we want it, man. We want it so bad. We want things to be back to normal so bad. And I get it. I do too, man. I really do. I'm a bit of a shut-in. I'm a homebody, but I miss, having people over. I miss going out and doing whatever. I want those things back, man. But priorities. Gotta keep your, keep your wits, keep your mind sharp on that kind of thing. Don't be afraid to say no. Okay. So that's it for today, but I'm going to leave you with this question. What are you doing to pass the time? I'm going to make this a two-part question. What are you doing to pass the time because a lot of us are home more than we've ever been. And some of us, for hours, because we're not working at all. Luckily, I'm still working, so I get to keep myself busy for most of the days. But still, I'm home way more than I've ever been. What are you doing to pass the time? What new thing have you discovered to help you pass the time? What new thing have you found that you're enjoying since you've been self-isolating? And I mention that because one thing that I've discovered is kind of weird. I mentioned Doritos and the sweet spicy chili. Those are good. But I've also found that I like Doritos, like regular nacho Doritos. This is what I'm talking about. Like some of the smaller things that are like, oh, this is interesting, this is fun or whatever. I'm enjoying this new thing. Here's another thing that I've really enjoyed lately. I have been watching the heck out of vintage golf tournaments, vintage majors, the Masters, the US Open, the British Open, the PGA Championship. I've been trying to find recordings of these events on YouTube. There's some, it's people who are taking their VHS tapes and then uploading them to YouTube. I've been watching so many of those. I'm watching one right now while we're, in between, recording this. That's the thing that I've really found. If you are, what, hold on. If that's something that you're interested in, go find the YouTube channel Charles Davis on YouTube. Thank God for this guy. These are the only, guys, listen, these are the only, the only versions of these tournaments anywhere. I don't know where else to find them. If they're not on YouTube, maybe you can help me, guys, because there's some holes in this guy's stuff. Definitely a lot of holes. Tournaments I can't find. If you know where to find the 1984 US Open at Winged Foot, apart from this guy's Charles Davis, then let me know, because I am dying to watch these old vintage golf tournaments and more, lots of it. Anything that you could throw my way that, is from the, let's say, 80s to the early 90s, or even the late 90s, I guess, before the internet, basically. That's how I've been spending my time. What are you doing to pass the time? Are you playing The Floor is Lava? Try it out one time. It's fun. Let us know, guys, in the comments below, and we'll talk about some of your answers in the next video, because I've got some more things to talk about coming soon, hopefully. So let us know in the comments below what new things, or what are you doing to pass the time, and what new things have you discovered that you like to do now since you've been in lockdown, and we'll talk about that next time. Until then, guys, thanks for watching. We love you. Please stay home. Please stay safe. And I love you. I miss you guys. fresh baked.